All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber die trying. You see the thumbnail. Does a stereotype hurt the league? And the WNBA, I'm going to double back on this one. I think that one of the reasons why the WNBA hasn't grown is also because I don't think some people want their daughters to be subjected to sexual harassment, because the WNBA and women's basketball has a stereotype that it's not a conducive space for a heterosexual female. And I don't think people think about it who are into the women in basketball probably never thought about it, because that's probably a private conversation between parents and their daughters, or the girls who like boys and their other friends who like boys when we play basketball. I think that stereotype of ladies being, a little studdish or studs, or makes the whole environment uncomfortable for the women. I think, if a woman is straight, they might feel like, quote unquote, like they're in a male football locker room or a male basketball locker room, because she thick. And I don't think that people take into consideration that draws out to even that spills out to even the crowd and the fans. I like, there are certain sports that women know guys are gawking, like volleyball, like track. They know. But the thing about it is, the locker room is off limits. You get what I'm saying? The crowd, you get involved in the sport, that kind of disappears until maybe the event's over. You get dressed, it's all over with. People can only gawk at you when you're playing, but after that, it's like, eh. But I think with the women, it goes from practice, locker room, game, crowd, back to the locker room, back to even the reporter interview part of it, back to practice. I think it's just that we don't want to talk about. That might be an environment that you will hear women talking about canceling, which will give a black eye to the alphabet community and women's women's empowerment, or women's modern day suffrage. So, and I think because of that, it's probably less marketable to corporations. It's like, who can I market in this as somebody that people would want to be? And it's like they probably, because whether we like it or not, and sex does sell, but heterosexual sex sales, not homosexual sex. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has, does that really sell? You're pushing it, but does it really sell? And people are looking at, I don't know if that's marketable. I don't, because that's also the attractiveness of men in sports. That attracts women in sports because it's a mixed environment, and the guys are looking at the men like, that's my team, that's my player. The women are looking at the men like, ooh, he fine. But I don't think it works that way with female basketball in particular. I don't think the guys going to the court, ooh, she fine, and the girls like, ooh, she could play. And the guys who play ball be like, ooh, she could play. She could play, but I don't need her trying to talk to my girlfriend after we leave. Like, I think it's that dynamic that whether, because it's a stereotype. Some people be like, oh, you probably got a point. And some people are like, well, that's a little bit of a reach because that's a stereotype. And the question is, which side would you think is more right? Because even if it's a stereotype that's not true, I think people believe it's true, and it's so pervasive that it interjects itself in everything else. So, until the league has women who could play basketball but are actually ladies, as because I could kid you not, like if you got somebody like Beyonce to play basketball, I think the sport would be like, oh Lord, you don't have to dress like Beyonce, but you're like, because remember when Serena Williams put on a cat suit and they were like, she fine in the mother. Like I'm not like if the women were super sexy, they ain't got to be like just dress like they nice skirts and show off their figure type of thing. Like what is the tall chick, Liz Cambridge? People look at Liz Cambridge like, ooh, ooh. I'll watch her play because she's tall and she's good, but I'll watch her play because she's kind of sexy. But we're not gonna look at Brittany Griner like that. It's that dynamic. I think that becomes a problem. But let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die. Try me out. Cheer, peace.